Good morning, friends. Welcome back to Astrology Today. My name is Mel Rose, and I'm here to share your daily aspects. Today on the page we have a quincunx, which is kind of exciting because we never get to talk about those, not very much. Quincunx is like, it's a point of action, it's a point of choice, and it doesn't guarantee a good outcome. It's kind of like, how are you going to approach it? It's sort of like the choose your own adventure. So this quincunx is the Sun and Pluto, so in our outer lives, in our more expressive work, social, and civic lives, we find ourselves in this position with the endings and beginnings and the way things are really changing for us. And the quincunx says basically, like, you may rely on one way of doing things and then you'll find that it isn't reliable. And so in that moment you have a choice, either, probably to get angry and storm about it, or try to get this one reliable way to work, or you can pivot at that moment and try something different. And I really recommend the try something different if you want the positive outcome, but that's just me. So let's go ahead and get into these aspects. Today is Sunday, June 19, 2022. Today and for the next 2 days, Sun is in Gemini, sign of the twins, sign of good things that come in twos, sign of sometimes having to say or do something twice. Mercury, Gemini's ruler, is also at home in Gemini. The vibe is collaborative and somewhat celebratory. Sun meets its annual culmination on the 21st with summer solstice, the longest day of the year. We generally celebrate this festival outdoors if we can, in social gatherings of different kinds. Today, the moon is a waning gibbous in Pisces. The third quarter moon is tomorrow. There's a bit of a pause here as we turn from reflecting to take note, and then from taking note to actively working to remove things from our environments and from our hearts and minds that no longer serve a purpose for us in the pursuit of our goals. The pause is appropriate for celebration purposes too. Sun's influence peaks like this only one time a year, and it's good for us, energetically speaking, to go out and soak up all that charm and magnetism while we celebrate all the life in the world, which would not be here without the sun's light and warmth. We start today on the moon side of the page, where the transits and aspects affect our inner lives. This is how it feels to be ourselves, who we are in our hearts and homes, among the people we choose to keep close. These aspects are brief, but sometimes impactful in terms of the stuff we think, feel, know, and intuit. Early this morning at 3 o'clock, straight up, moon goes square to Mercury. That's Central Standard Time, friends. Moon goes square to Mercury, Gemini, Cancer, and Virgo. These are your vibes. Engaging with others when we're feeling moody or particular may not be our best look at this time. Let's avoid disagreements for now if we can. Late tonight at 11:50, it's a different story. As the moon goes sextile to Uranus for the midnight hour, Cancer and Aquarius, we may feel a spark of quirkiness that, when we express ourselves, comes across as fun and engaging. Sextile energy is positive and can bring about good reactions and interactions. On the sun side of the page, where we explore the outer life, this is how we express ourselves in our work, social, and civic settings. Back to early this morning at 3:10 in the morning, Sun goes quincunx to Pluto. This is one we don't talk about very much. Leo and Scorpio. This can be a feeling like a sudden loss of power or agency that can come over us at this time. It's actually an opportunity to pivot away from an old way of being or an old way of doing something that is no longer so reliable, and to find a different approach to take up for ourselves in the world. We may actually learn something about ourselves and be changed by this moment. We have some ongoing aspects. Today is the last full day of influence for Mars conjunct to Chiron. Mars rules Aries, where Mars and Chiron are currently adjoined. We've been encouraged by Mr. Self-Confidence himself, Mars, to demonstrate our healing of social wounds by expressing ourselves a little more loudly, a little more expressively than usual. I hope you've taken advantage of the opportunity to let your flag fly, my friends. After more than a month of blessed insight, today is the final day for Mercury trine Pluto to have its full influence. Gemini, Virgo, and Scorpio, that's you. Having been with us so long, I reckon the effects of this blessing will linger a while. With Pluto retrograde, a lot of our fears and insecurities have been coming up in terms of the generational and institutional knowledge we lean on and why it seems to fail us. Today, June 19, is the day we celebrate the time when the last of the enslaved people in the United States South were finally set free, 2.5 years after the proclamation was signed. I've thought of it as an appropriate time to bring this up in light of the opportunity that we've had to examine and express some of these fears and insecurities that come up for us as people. I got a little lost there, but I think I'm still making sense. It's important to understand that some of these fears and insecurities, they arise from old trauma, much older than you or me, but its effects ripple through the generations, informing our conscious and unconscious judgment of the world around us. Wouldn't it be great if we had some sort of light we could shine to show us the roots of our fragility? Wouldn't it be helpful to have that deeper understanding? Venus is square to Saturn and sextile to Neptune through June 23. Taurus, Libra, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces are all in this little triangle here. Venus's square to Saturn can be a difficult or tight time for us financially, when our insecurity comes up regarding how well supplied we feel with cash and all our goodies and necessities. On the other hand, Venus's sextile to Neptune there can actually turn us on to some sort of high-end window shopping. Like we want to think about like rich and glossy things that we could purchase. So why the push and pull? Why, we struggle with our money, but our tastes grow more opulent as we go? Isn't that sometimes the way? For me, this is an example of how we can lean into our understanding of the things we'd like to have, things we can take on as personal goals that will represent successes for us. When you set your goals high, you have to try harder. As Snoop Dogg would say, step your game up. Sun will be trine to Saturn and square to Neptune through June 23. All of this is happening through 6/23. So Leo, Capricorn, and Aquarius right here. Leo, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Neptune. Let's not ever forget Pisces. Sun trine to Saturn says that whatever goals it is that we are working on, whatever we're trying to build, our day-to-day efforts are blessed and will likely yield better results than expected. On the other hand, Sun square to Neptune can feel like all our energy is just spilling out in all the directions and we have none left for ourselves. In other words, this can be very demotivating. Again, with the push and pull of Saturn versus Neptune, structure versus connection, reality versus fantasy, the two aren't actually in conflict, but complementary to one another. When the stability feels wobbly, we look to the connection. When the connection is spotty, we remember our dedication to our commitments, and we remember that the efforts we make are blessed under the Sun's trine to Saturn. So go and get it. Pluto is retrograde through October 8th. Pluto is a ruler of Scorpio. Pluto's final retrograde in Capricorn at the end of a 25+ year transit in that sign has sure got us asking, what can I rely on? Am I still the same person I was We're all going through these deep and total changes, and it feels very personal, and it is, because only you can have the experience that you are having. But it's also a collective effort. It's happening to us all. So let's be kind to one another as our foundations shift individually and collectively. Saturn is retrograde through October 22, and Saturn rules Capricorn and Aquarius. Saturn's retrograde in Aquarius wants us to answer this question. Do I rely on habits, practices, or ways of being that strip away the stability in other people's lives? Am I leaning too heavily on my privileges? When I win, does someone else lose? Aquarius wants everyone to feel supported, and Saturn's retrograde turns that desire in toward our hearts, our inside sense of what is correct. We want to feel good about our core habits and ways of being, and right now that means making sure we aren't perpetuating inequity for the sake of our own comfort. Tomorrow, we'll see the third quarter moon in Pisces, when we can begin to release the fantasy that we are limited in what we may achieve. Also, that day, Mercury makes a sextile to Jupiter, a good time to plan big for the future. Tuesday is the summer solstice, a holiday for socializing and soaking up the sun's warmth during its peak influence. Also, Venus goes trine to Pluto, bringing power and depth to our relationships to people and money. And on that very same day, the sun makes ingress to Cancer, and we shift our outer life focus to emotions, nurture, and healing. Then, on Wednesday, not to be outdone, Venus will make ingress to Gemini, and this will be a great time of collaboration in terms of our partnerships and all the people and things that we like, love, and can't get enough of. And that's it for today's astrology, friends. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please like my video, and if you know someone else who may like it, please share. You can also subscribe to my channel and click the notifications bell. I post here every day, and I wouldn't want you to miss a thing. Also, friends, thank you for leaving comments to ask questions and give me encouragement. Your support in that regard helps me see that I am on the right track, and that is invaluable to me. And it lets YouTube know that you're engaged to the content, which helps a lot as well. So thank you and thank you. If you want to see the tarot portion for Astrology Today, I invite you to join me on my other page, Astrology Today and Tarot with Mel Rose. Slow down, Mel. There we talk about the tarot card that sits on the side of the page. We'll go over the day's aspects again, and then we'll play another tarot card that may give us something more to think about. I hope to see you all there. As always, I'm grateful to you for including me in your day. My love and appreciation go out to you, and I'll see you all back here tomorrow for more Astrology Today.